Joining me now is Dr. Brenda Shaffer, who is the senior advisor at the Foundation for the Defense of Democracies. Dr. Shaffer, you've studied some of these Greeniac efforts like this for decades. Explain what this such a benevolent-sounding civilian climate corps would really mean and do.
Well, you know, the civilian climate corps, it sounds very nice, you know, conservation corps, peace corps, climate corps, but we have the luxury of seeing how the massive government support of organizations, what it does to limit very good policies, right? So we're lucky in the United States that we've seen what's happened to Europe when they let the public organizations, the nonprofits set their policies. We have, you know, Europe almost falling over a cliff with high energy prices, with shortages, with their energy transition looking more like going from natural gas to fuel oil and coal than going, you know, into anything that looks renewable or green. And if we establish this climate corps, we'll have something very similar where you get yourself really trapped with very few policy options because there is this, you know, this Fed paid for, you know, public opposition to almost any rational energy policy.
Now, Senator Ed Markey let it slip about what Build Back Better is really all about. Watch.
Oil companies are taking American consumers and shaking them upside down at gas pumps to kill Build Back Better, to kill a transition to all-electric vehicles that will lead inexorably, inevitably, to the demise of those companies. The oil era will be over if we pass this bill.
Well, he couldn't have been more blunt and more clear, Dr. Shaffer. Gas prices, that means, are just going to go through the roof if this bill is passed. Way more than the $4.50 a lot of Americans are seeing out in the West Coast. Could go up to $7 or $8, correct?
Well, if you look at the interim national security doctrine of the Biden administration, the word energy appears 10 times, but 7 out of 10 in the context of clean energy. We don't engage anymore in geopolitics of energy. This used to be a really successful part of U.S. national security policy, foreign policy. Instead, I mean, how even, you know, simple calculation. If the U.S. produces less oil and gas, but imports more from other countries, how does that help climate? How does that help the environment? You know, all it does is just, you know, a massive wealth transfer to national oil companies in foreign countries. It won't do, you know, it won't do anything to improve environment or climate, and at the same time, it hurts the U.S. in terms of national security.
Well, Nancy Pelosi spoke out today about all of this as well, and she was, you know, pushing the climate change agenda as critical to moving our country forward. And the argument for them is this will help what ails us now with jobs and wages and economic growth. And this is going to be part of the new revolution, economic revolution. Do you buy that, Brenda?
No, I mean, actually, if you really believe there was an imminent climate crisis, something that was, you know, as we hear a lot from many of the politicians, that our moves in the next couple of years will determine the future of climate, you actually wouldn't be going for a big infrastructure bill where you're doing a lot of steel, a lot of cables, a lot of, you know, building that actually creates a lot of emissions. Most of, you know, even this whole emphasis on electric vehicles, electric cars, minimal impact on lowering emissions, but puts us from a system where the U.S. leads, the system that we have, energy system we have today, to a system based on electricity where China leads and controls most of the minerals that are necessary.
It empowers China. Yeah.
It empowers China completely.
Build Back Better, and we got to go, Brenda, but Build Back Better in China. Okay. Brenda, thank you.